So I came across this clip maybe a few months ago, and it literally made me cuss.
Cause you are the best thing that's ever happened to me.
How did you become gay?
That's a great question. There's different theories on why. Obviously, there's the genetic, there's environmental, there's hormonal. And then when I was 9 years old, I woke up. I spent the night at a friend's house from my school, and I woke up in the middle of the night, and his father was molesting me.
Wow.
So
Amazing.
that was a huge. I think that was like a major turning point for me.
And so when you think of that now, what do you think about, how do you feel about that?
About that night? I think the thing is, before I was a Christian, I thought, that night was not a big deal. I was kind of like, oh, it was no big deal. After I became a Christian, I now look back on that night as very traumatic. Now I understand that night was very destructive.
I remember this story of a girl who said her dad never let her sleep over at friends' homes.
Mm-hmm.
And for her 18th birthday, she could get anything she wanted, whatever gift she wanted. And she said, I want a sleepover.
Mm.
So her parents granted her that sleepover. And she said to me, do you know that when we were in a circle, her and the girls, she said to them, this is my first sleepover. And they were shocked. And one girl got teary-eyed, and she says, why are you crying? She said, I know you think that your dad was so wrong and bogus for what he did and so mean by not letting you have sleepover, but he protected you and he saved you from so much damage and harm. And then she said, I looked up and there were several girls crying, and that's when they began unfolding their stories of how they had slept over at a friend's house. It was a brother. It was a father. It was a cousin who was sleeping over with the brother. I know parents, we do the best we can with the information we have, and we trust the families that our children are going to sleep over at.
Mm-hmm.
But for us personally, unless it's our grandparents, their grandparents, we don't allow sleepovers. And there are families who we adore them. They can go to their homes, and maybe we'll be the kind of family that's like, hey, at midnight, we come and get you.
Yep.
Because then you're just sleeping, go sleep in your own bed. And I can bring you back.
I'd say 10 o'clock. Nothing good happens after 10 o'clock.
Okay. We'll discuss that. Maybe 10. But we can bring them back early in the morning. You can be part of the rest of the day.
Go have breakfast. Yeah.
Because, anyway, people are doing weird things to you when you're sleeping. And so.
I wet the bed at a sleepover.
Oh, what? How old?
I was way too old.
No.
I had filled up on something to drink.
Like 11?
No. Probably. It was bad. But the mom was so gracious to me.
Were
She
your friends gracious?
They didn't know. That's what I mean. The mom was so gracious. She hid it and protected me. I didn't even know what happened because obviously I was past the point of wetting the bed. And I was like, what the heck? Why am I all wet? It didn't even click then. It didn't click until later. I was like, oh, I peed the bed. Isn't that hilarious?
Yes, it is. I'm sorry to hear
I remember. It was do you remember those little foldy cushions?
Yeah.
You know how they the trifold?
Yes.
Those?
Yes.
So he had unfolded it so that I was sleeping on it. I ruined his folded cushion. I peed all over it.
Wow. Well, that's an interesting fact. Huh. Yeah. It's devastating to watch that clip. No matter how many times you've shown it to me, it's devastating because his whole childhood, his life was taken from him and he had no choice. And an adult took that from him and changed his world for a lifetime.
Yes, for selfish gratification.
Yes.
And that's what it made me say, and this is exactly why our kids won't be sleeping over at even their friend's house. We look at it and we always said it's just not worth it. I look back at my own childhood and see, and that's how I was exposed to pornography, was as a 7 or 8 year old in your cousin's basement.
7 or
Not
8.
your cousin's basement, in my cousin's basement, but as a 7 or 8 year old in my cousin's basement, I was exposed to pornography.
That's 7. We have an 8-year-old, just turned 8,
Mm-hmm.
and I cannot fathom what that would do to his brain.
Yeah.
Like, knowing who he is as a person,
Yeah.
if he was exposed to that, meaning porn or something horrific like this gentleman was.
Yeah.
And I think we both want to clarify, this is not a video about people being homosexuals.
Mm-mm.
We're not touching on that.
No.
What we are touching on is, it is an experience like his that we fear happens all too often, that could happen to our children if we allowed them to sleep over at someone else's home.
That's right.
And it's ironic because we slept over our friends' homes all the time.
Lots of
as kids.
sleepovers.
So many sleepovers. Like, that was a thing, like,
That was
to
the
get a
thing.
sleepover at a friend's house. And I hate that for our kids, because you made so many memories when you slept over at a friend's house.
There was also some things. And that's what I mean, like the movies we watched, the things that we were exposed to, like, and so that's what you're weighing. And that's what every parent weighs, is we want to give our kids the memories and avoid the destruction. But I think in our mind, we said the potential of destruction is not worth any memory of a sleepover. Absolutely. Not until they're a bit older. Maybe 15, 16, 17, old enough to where this isn't going to be something that happens.
I don't know, because can I tell you the number of stories I've heard of, even when they are older, right? 15, 16, you're still letting your 6-year-old, 7-year-old go sleep over, and there's a 15 or 16-year-old around your 6 or 7-year-old,
right?
And that 6 or 7-year-old is being molested
them differently
by that 15 or 16-year-old. Yeah,
you're protecting the kids that come. You're protecting those kids too, because they're kids too. Yeah. I mean, who knows what they have going through their mind or their body that they feel like they need to get out, and protecting them from that unsupervised time, because that's all it really is. That's why sleepovers were great, because the parents went to bed at some point. You got to do whatever you wanted.
But can we just talk about this? And in the comments, really, I would love to hear some stories. Sleepovers were great, and you made best memories, like I said. But then when I look at some of the sleepovers I had, I'm like, sleepovers are really not great. I remember, oh my goodness, I remember playing Truth or Dare, and the sleepover, and people were spitting in a cup mixed with gross things, and being dared to drink it or eat cat litter or something else.
Cat litter. That's a good one.
No, that's gross.
We just played video games.
Yeah, I don't know.
We played James Bond GoldenEye.
I don't know.
Stay the same, 'cause you are the best thing that's ever happened to me. I was not the type to slow down my life for you. I was young and I was full of fire.